As protests continue against racism during this coronavirus pandemic, the numbers show that racial inequality may have played a role in how COVID-19 spread. Here's a look. As coronavirus spread across the United States, health officials and leaders started noticing a disturbing trend. The virus was taking a larger toll on African American communities. According to demographic data for the entire country, African American deaths from COVID-19 are 2 times greater than what they should be based on the population size. There are signs that racial injustice is a factor. When the coronavirus crisis hit, state and local leaders raced to roll out testing, but analysis has shown that testing was disproportionately placed in wealthier and whiter communities. In Texas, a pretty diverse state, NPR found that in 4 out of 6 cities, there was more testing sites in white areas compared to minority neighborhoods. Only Houston had more testing in minority neighborhoods. And even when more testing was done and officials noticed that African Americans appeared to be falling sick at a larger rate, there was a reluctance among some to speak up. According to the Washington Post, initially some leaders in Louisiana and elsewhere were concerned about stigma, worried that people would use the pandemic to ostracize African Americans. Activists also point out that the coronavirus, like other diseases, was able to exploit long-standing social and economic inequality. And that includes everything from a lack of quality medical care and a higher likelihood of working essential jobs to a prevalence of multi-generational households. And just announced, the Trump administration will require any COVID-19 lab results reported to the CDC to include a person's race, ethnicity, zip code, age, and sex. And that will begin August 1st. This will give the federal government a better picture of how the virus is impacting communities of color. Lawmakers have been demanding the data for several weeks, raising questions about why the administration waited until 4 months into the crisis to act.